Okay, I'm going live now. I have no idea when Facebook is going to make me live in the group, so here we go. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining me. Today I'm doing a little bit of an impromptu live. So the thing that prompted this was yesterday in Georgia's group over in Entrepreneurial Hearts. She pimped out a few people's Facebook pages, and one of them was mine. And I thought the tips were really, really helpful, and I really wanted to pay it forward. So that's my way of doing that today. So what I'm going to be doing is as you can see, I'm sharing my screen. Hey, Katie, nice to see you. And what I'm going to do is I picked 3 people whose pricing pages I'm going to be giving some feedback on. These are just going to be some quick tips that you can use to implement, as well as some general tips and insights that you can think about over time and start to work a little bit on. So first and foremost, Katie, I'm going to be looking at yours. And now, Katie, when I went to your Facebook page and I clicked on your website link, the link was actually broken. So I'm just going to be doing it based on your Facebook page today. I'm going to be looking at your posts to see what you talk about. So I can see here that Katie is posting fairly regularly, which is really awesome. Oop. And that is great. I'm seeing a lot of focus on the products itself. You describe the products a lot. You go into a lot of details. What I would love to see more of from you, Katie, is some customer stories about, this customer used this essential oil for this reason. This is the problem that she or he was facing, and she bought this oil to solve this problem, and this is what happened afterwards. You want to be using your business page and your website to be telling a story about what your product can do more often than you want to be describing your product. I hope that makes sense. So that's the first tip that I would have there. I haven't seen any actual pricing information. But I'm guessing that because you're a doTERRA consultant, that maybe the pricing is preset for you. If that's the case, what I would do, and I actually don't mind the fact that you don't have the prices in your posts. That's not a bad thing at all, because what you're doing then is you're making sure that your customers' focus is on the product itself and the benefits they get out of it, as opposed to the price. People are very, price sensitive. Usually, we want to know what the prices are for things, and so people are on the lookout for them. So if you can encourage them to focus more on your product, that is only a good thing. Let's have a look. I'm also just going to open this up on my phone so I can see if any comments are coming through. Information. But I'm guessing. Oh, Pip, I know you don't have a pricing page on your website, but that's okay. I will get to that. Parenting isn't always easy, Katie, this is really, really good. What you're doing here is you're talking about a story, and it's about yourself. You're being really open and honest. Things like this, where you share a story and you allow customers to actually step in, come into your place, and they can resonate with a problem that you're having, or maybe that one of your other customers is having, that actually increases the perceived value of your product as well, because you are speaking a language that resonates with them so much more clearly. If you do a post where you talk about the different ingredients of the essential oils, or maybe where it comes from, or other features about the product, that stuff isn't so valuable to our customers as the problems that it can solve or the results that it generates for them. When we talk about our customers' problems and results, rather than focusing on our product, we actually increase our perceived value and willingness to pay. I'm just going to check those comments in here. Hi, Andrea. Nice to see you. But my services aren't set. One-on-ones and specific workshops and seminars. Yeah. So when you go to put that on your website, Katie, when you're talking about your one-on-one services and your workshops and seminars, what I would talk about is the kind of results that they can expect. You have some really, really beautiful imagery of your products on here, and it looks really attractive, especially where was it? Here. So this was the setup that we had at the retreat the other week that George hosted, and it was such an amazing time. I would grab some of those testimonials that the girls gave you and talk about how it made them feel, what difference it made, what it added to the retreat, what they got out of it. Those sorts of things are going to really resonate with your market, as well as using really beautiful imagery like this. Helps your customer paint a picture in their head. When your customer can paint a picture in their head of what it's like to work with you or buy from you, this actually gives them clarity. This clarity reduces perceived risk and it increases their perceived value. So it's a really, really powerful thing to do as well. Just checking those comments there. Beautiful. But yeah, other than that, I love that you're posting regularly. I love that you're very dedicated to this. It's obviously something that you put a lot of work and heart and soul into. And I'm excited to see your pricing page for your workshops and your one-on-ones soon. Okay, moving along to Pip. Pip, you've got a working together page, which is pretty good. So I'm going to go through here and have a look now. Let me just check those. Okay, so the benefits to having good systems are huge. The first thing that I would point out here, Pip, is that I don't know who you're talking to. I don't know if you're talking to me or if you're talking to a different type of business owner. I'm not sure if you're talking to someone who is my size or someone with a team or someone with a particular revenue level. So the thing that I would say is to really hone in on your market segmentation here. You've got a really good idea. You have a really good understanding of the benefits of having better systems in a business. You know what kind of outcomes that can give to people. The next step for your working together page is to talk to a specific person. The other thing to bear in mind with your market segmentation as well is that you don't actually only have to work with those people. So you might pick a market segment. Let's say it's female business owners who are earning between $300,000 and $350,000 a year. That's just a thing off the top of my head. That doesn't mean that if someone who's only doing $100K a year comes to you and says, "Hey Pip, are you able to help me in my business?" Doesn't mean you have to say no. When you're talking about market segmentation, you're talking about focusing your messaging. It focuses all of your marketing, focuses your product development. You start speaking really specifically to a certain person, therefore it resonates more strongly. This also is where you can build a lot of differentiation. When you have a market segment that you're speaking to, you are differentiating yourself because you're becoming an expert in them, you're becoming an expert in their problems, you become an expert in the results that they want to achieve. And so that's what I would say here, Pip, is to actually be speaking to a specific person. If you have a market segment or a customer avatar, that's what I would be putting into here. Love that you talk about the benefits here. Create more time in your week to spend doing the things you love with the people you love. You could go even more specific than this. If you have a chat with some of your customers that you're working with already and you ask them, what would you want to do with that extra time? Would you want to spend it with your family? Would you want to spend it, earning more income? Talk about things in specifics. That, again, like I said with Katie's page, gives a really clear picture in their head, and it's really helpful and drives a lot of perceived value. Environment. Create an environment that makes it easy to do business. Quality and standards. Ensure that things are done properly and to the required standard. The only thing I would say with some of these is, why is it important to me? Because again, as a business owner, we know why these things are important. You know why quality and standards are important. You know why having an environment that makes it easy to do business is important, but I don't know. I don't know why it's important to me. What happens if I don't have an environment that makes it easy to do business? What happens if I do? What's the difference? What is it going to cost me if I don't have a really good environment to do business? Those are the things that I'd love to see you talking about here. Not doing that can mean that if I don't understand, or if I can't get a clear image in my head of what it is that I can expect by working with you, then I'm not going to have a very high perceived value of it. Create consistency in the service or product that you provide your customers, the same delivery every single time. So that's a really good example. That's really clear to me, right? I want to be consistent with my customers. I want them to think that I'm consistent and that it's the same every single time, right? So that's a really good example there. No worries, Katie. Okay, let's keep going. So this is the best move you can make at any stage of your business. Okay, why? And this is again where I would put something about your market segment in. Make it really specific to a specific person or a specific problem that they're dealing with. Because you can be any B2B seller and you could make this statement. You could say, creating blah or having blah is the best move you can make at any stage of your business. I know that you're incentivized to say that, but now I'm wondering, okay, why? why is it the best move I can make at any stage of my business? Because it's such a broad statement, it may not resonate with me, it may not spur me on to action. But if you speak really specifically to me, like if you speak to, say, female entrepreneurs who earn less than 150 grand a year, that's a category that I'm in. If you said creating systems is the best move for women business owners who earn less than 150 grand a year, again, this is just an example, you've got my attention because you have named who I am and a category that I am in, right? And all of a sudden I'm thinking, oh, she's actually talking to me. She must understand me. She must really get the problems that I'm having. She must really understand what problems it causes in my business to not have good systems in place. And so that's the kind of power that you can have when you speak really specifically to a person and then about a specific problem and or a result. Who you are. You've been in business. Okay, so this is pretty good. Been in business for at least a few years. You're clear on what problems you solve for your clients and what your problems have. You may be the sole person in the business or have a small team supporting you. Again, that's quite a broad range of people, because a solo person could be someone who has just started their business yesterday, not that there's anything wrong with that, or a solo person could be making, quite a lot of money, right, as a consultant, earning $1 million a year. So it's a really broad range of people there. This doesn't name me as your specific target person. You work long hours and feel like you're on the mouse wheel just going around and around and around. I really like this because you're pointing out a problem, right? Or at least the start of a problem. You're working long hours. You're exhausted. You can't give your customers the service that you really want to give them. You have no idea how your business is going to grow without you burning out, right? Talking about those sorts of things, struggling to find the time to work on your business growth is exposing small cracks. That's excellent. I really like that language. Okay. Choose the best program for your business, on-demand consulting or ClickUp consultant. Fast track your system. So I'm just going to read through. So you've got some inclusions here like strategy, setup and management of automations, business process improvement, process mapping, These sound really, really smart, but I have no idea what they are. I don't know what they're going to do for my business, and so I don't know if I need them or not. And that's one of the key things, and everybody does it, right, including me. I'm just going to have a drink of water. We speak in the language of what we do because we know what we do so well. And just like for yourself, Pip, you know what you do so well. All of these words are super easy for you. As soon as I say any of them, you know exactly what it means, you know what it looks like to carry it out, and you know the results that it can give to people. But your customers might not, right? So if you talk about process mapping, I have like a really, really vague idea of what that means, but I'm not sure. I don't know what it would look like to implement it. I also have no idea what kind of impact it would have. Is it going to save me time? Is it going to take a long time? Do I need to be involved? Is it going to make me money? There's all of a sudden all these questions that come up in my head. The main thing to keep in mind with your packaging page and the features that you put into your packages is there's two main things. Number one, you want all of your packages to tell a story, right? So the title that you've got here, on-demand consulting, to me that means that whenever I want you, you're there. That may or may not be it. ClickUp consultant, I don't know what that means. Your customers may or may not know what that means. If you can use your package title as an opportunity to tell a story, it makes it so much more powerful. A really good example that I know of is an internet company in the US, and instead of having their plans as download speeds or, the size of megabytes or whatever, they have it as like household types, right? So they have, you're a single household, right? So you're just a single adult, or you're a couple and you really love to play video games, or you're a family and you love to stream lots of movies and play video games as well. So they're telling a story with each of their packages. And Pip, I'm wondering if that's something that you could do here. I imagine that because systems is very techy and there's a lot of jargon involved, whether that would make it easier for your customers to see what it is they're going to get and which package is right for them. And that's where the story package title comes in. With when you have a package title that's a story, I can go, oh, that package is the one for me. Then when you're talking about your features, you can certainly list the technical term, but what I would do is I would preface it by saying a benefit or a result that your client wants. So for example, save significant time in your business each week, or save hours you get back hours in your business each week by implementing business process improvement, right? So you have something that's in layman's terms in English that they want first, and then by having blah, 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 blah. Or another option you could have is next to each of these, you could have a little symbol, like a question mark or that the person can hover over, and you talk about it in English, like in everyday language, and saying, this is what it does. This is why it's a benefit to you. Okay, so you don't have prices on here. I'm guessing that's because it's customized to each person and it depends on what they're after. Again, there's nothing wrong with not having your prices here. It depends on your customers and what their expectations are. Some things you could do is you could have examples of, say, I worked with so-and-so, they paid this much and this is what we implemented, and then this was the result. So you could have something like that to give people an idea of what they might be paying. Just going to check on the comments there. About to change. Oh, perfect. So those options are about to be changed. Pip says, love the ideas of how to talk about the different packages in regards to stories. Wonderful. I'm glad that's helpful. Okay, third person. I'm just going to have some more water. Please excuse my voice. I've been sick over the weekend. And no, it is not COVID. I promise. All right, George. George, I'm going to look at your private coaching. So this is actually your private coaching page link that I've clicked on first. There is a lot of information. I love the way that you are very conversational and how you talk to people. It's very, it's quite easy to understand. It's easy to see what I'm going to get from you. This is for you if you're seeking more clarity and confidence in all areas of your business and life. You want to work with someone who truly gets you. I like that you have language that really tries to resonate with the person and what they're thinking and what they're feeling. This is language that creates a really high perceived value. It's also the kind of language that got me to join your Be Bold in Business program that everyone else should go and check out. All right, let's look at the details. What you get: up to 12 times one-on-one mentoring sessions, practical mindset tools to help you smash through. Okay, this is what I really like here. So you say practical mindset tools. You could have stopped there. And in fact, a lot of people would have. But you go on to talk about why it's important, right? You're not just listing a feature. You're listing how it's going to make a difference, right? Because if you had just said practical mindset tools, I would have been like, okay, but why is that important? So what if I get practical mindset tools? What does that mean for me? But you go on to explain and say, to help you smash through the barriers of self-doubt, fear, and anything else that is holding you back. Right? You're getting specific. You're talking about a problem, something that's probably in my mind that I'm struggling with. My eyes and brain on and in your business to help you implement, test, and tweak as we put your plans into action. Excellent. This is creating, again, a really clear image for me in my head of what it's going to look like working with you. When a brain is going into any kind of buying decision, it's already on really high alert. Humans are really, really risk averse and loss averse. We don't want to risk losing anything, and losing is twice as painful as gaining is pleasurable. So if you lose $100, it's twice as painful as gaining $100 is pleasurable, right? So when someone is looking at your pricing page, they are looking for, what am I going to lose? What's the risk here? That's why we always skip down to the end and look for the price, right? We want to look for, what are we going to lose, right? What do I have to give up here to get what I want, okay? Bonuses. I like that you have bonuses. The idea of a bonus makes me feel like I'm getting extra. It gives me more of what behavioral economists call transactional utility, which is basically a fancy way of saying, I feel really, really happy buying this because I feel like I got extra and that makes me feel really good. That's basically what it means. So you are giving me something that satiates my brain and makes my brain feel really, really happy. You're reducing risk by making things quite clear in terms of what it's going to look like working with you. And that's a really powerful thing too, because it increases my perceived value, which increases my willingness to pay, right? If we're a good fit, book in a discovery call, and don't worry, you won't be submitted to any sleazy sales pitches or high pressure tactics. That's not my style. What I like about this is that you are preempting a fear, right? So when someone is going into a buying decision, as I just said before, they're very risk averse. They're thinking about, what am I going to lose, right? What am I going to be subjected to? I don't want to be subjected to a sleazy sales pitch or high pressure tactics. I don't want any of that BS. I'm going to try not to swear today on my live. And so by actually pointing it out and saying, I'm not going to do that, you're being really clear, you're being upfront about it, that reduces my perceived risk even more. Okay, still on the fence. Here's a small selection of what my clients and I have achieved together. So here you have some results. 91% income growth within 3 months of implementing formulated strategies. Bang. All of a sudden, my perceived value goes up because it's social proof. Right? We're social creatures, humans. If other people get something out of something, we expect that we will probably get the same thing. And even though you haven't said that here, George, you haven't said, look, if you work with me, you're going to have a 91% income growth. You haven't said that. All you're doing is you're saying, here is what's possible, because other people have experienced it before. Landing $5,000 contracts and smashing monthly income targets, awesome. From selling just 2 art commissions a year to months fully booked out, you're giving me a really clear idea, okay, of the kind of results that other people have gotten, and maybe that I could get too. I like the fact that you list a number here. When brains are looking at buying things, we're very drawn to symbols. Humans don't inherently know what things are worth. We have no idea what things are worth. It's why we need to rely on things like prices to tell us what the value of what things are. The fact that you have a number here, my brain is instantly drawn to it. Right? When I read landing $5,000 contracts, that's an economic value to me. Economic basically meaning like monetary. That's a monetary, it's concrete. I can imagine it. I can imagine $5,000 in my bank account right now. That's really, really easy for me to imagine. It's a really powerful form of testimonial and social proof to have. Okay, so there's no pricing on this page, which is interesting. And I'm guessing it may be because it's customized per each person. I'm going to have a quick look at Be Bold in Business. I like that you have this. This taps into the scarcity effect, right? We value things more when there's less of it, or if there's time running out, because we're loss averse, right? If I don't get it now in 1 day and 21 hours and 37 minutes and 36 seconds, I'm never going to have it and I miss out, right? FOMO, a fear of missing out. This is a really instinctive survival-based drive. It comes from our lizard brain, right? If we missed out on something as part of like the herd of people, that was dangerous, right? If we were outside of the social group, that meant that our chances of survival were lower if we were, ostracized or excluded for any reason. That's why we like to be included. That's why social proof is so powerful, because it's actually a survival drive for us, right? If I'm not included in this good thing that other people are included in, I'm going to miss out. I'm going to be left behind. I'm in danger. So it brings up those instincts. Let me guess, you've been staring at the computer all day, yet you barely achieved a thing. Hello, deep motivation. Great. You're speaking specifically to people's problems. You're speaking in their language. The thing I quite like here is that it's a while before you talk about yourself. That is really, really good. You start a lot of your sentences with, are you passionate about the work that you do, your salary, you to pay off your mortgage quickly, you've been staring at the computer all day, you're doing everything, you're talking to me. You're making it really, really personal to me and making a personal connection. That increases my perceived value even more as well. And then it's only in the middle of the page that you start talking about yourself. I'm just going to quickly check the comments. Hope you're feeling better. Thank you so much for the tips. You're very welcome, Pip. Imagine what it would be like to know, without looking at your bank account, that you can pay for more than just life's necessities. Again, painting a really clear picture, that's really good. The only thing I would say, George, with your pages is that, number one, there's a lot of content. It's a lot to go through. A lot of people might be a bit overwhelmed by it all, because it is quite a lot. There's a lot of like large font, which makes it even longer as a page as well. People are very time poor. We have limited attention spans. I would maybe consider skimming it down a little bit, or at least for some of these headings and things, even shortening it. For your testimonials, I would focus less on what you did, and I would just highlight the parts where they talk about the results or how that made them feel. So you got this one here, after changing from corporate life, da 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 da. You could even just include, Georgina taught me to take control of my mindset and adopt practices, plans, tools, and techniques that are used by successful people every day. I stopped feeling like a work-at-home mum and instead reclaimed my business confidence and acumen, da 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 da. So I know that you probably included this bit here because it's a way for people to resonate with that and resonate with the testimonial. But because there's a lot of content on this page, I don't know if it's likely that people are reading through the entire testimonial. So in cases like this, what I would do is I would just put in the part that talks about the results that they got, or if anything, just highlight the words that speak to the results. That's what I would say there. Da, 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 da. Okay, so you've got your, here's what we'll cover. Everything, find and start attracting your dream clients. Your posts and emails will have people writing to you saying, oh my gosh, that's me. It's like you're reading their mind. That's really, really good. You're painting a picture of what they can expect in terms of the results after they work with you. That's really helpful. Create a perfect rinse and repeat strategy that works no matter what. I like that you're being really clear on what it's going to do for them in the future. The only other thing I would say, George, is similar to what I mentioned with Pip, is market segmentation. So I know that you're speaking to women in business who are ready to stop procrastinating and take profitable actions. That's quite a broad range again. You may want to look at segmenting your market either by size of their business, years in business, revenue level, industry, maybe a specific problem, like maybe for women who maybe motivation is a problem, or confidence or procrastination is a problem, but you want to pick a really specific problem that has really specific symptoms and speak to that really specifically. And again, as I said to Pip before, you don't have to only serve those people, but the idea is that your market segmentation just creates really focused marketing so that you're speaking to a specific person. Then your product development goes around that as well. And when you have that kind of market segmentation, that focus, you build pricing power because you're differentiated. If you are known as the coach for women who struggle with confidence as business owners with a business with less than 3 people, that's super specific. You have differentiated yourself massively. You've also massively increased your pricing power as well because you're the only one in that exact market segment. I hope that makes sense. Let me know if those tips were helpful. I'm just going to run over this is really helpful. Oh, thank you, Andrea. I'm glad it's really helpful. Okay. Do we have any final questions or anything before I hop off? This has been really fun. Let me know in the comments too. Excuse me while I have some water. If something like this, if something like a review of your website or even just your pricing page is something that you would find helpful as a one-on-one service or something like that, it's an idea that, I was thinking about this morning because a few people did comment and say that they would like some feedback. So yeah, if this is something that you would find helpful, if you'd like a pricing expert's eyes on your pricing page, definitely let me know. Pop in a comment below and let me know. And also let me know if you've watched this or watched any part of this, and especially for you guys, Katie, Pip, and George, let me know what's the one tip you're going to implement after watching this. I'd really, really love to know, and I'm really excited to see what you guys do. So I think that's all we've had in the comments. Thank you so much, ladies, and thank you so much, everybody, for jumping in and joining in. I hope you all have a fabulous Wednesday, and I will catch you next time. Bye-bye.